Welcome, welcome to Let's Set the Record Straight, March 13th, 2020. We are here today to have a real deep discussion because things have changed. So we're not going to talk about things are going to change. The change is here. And what are we going to do? And there's some topics we really want to drive home and make sure people understand who are thinking about returning back to uh, their ancestral way of living with nature, which is the only way to live with nature. And so we must understand the things that are important. And so today we're going to talk about investing in our soil. So before we get started, because we got a lot to do, let's everybody, let me just read our affirmation for our allegiance to life, for staying life enthused. Those people who like it, write this down and use it 3 times a day. So it goes simple as this. My allegiance is to life, my soul, and my blood of America. I value the blood of life given to me. I respect the blood of life shared with me. I love the life force that flows within me. I trust the power of life to provide, sustain, and thrive with me. Principles that govern life protect me from the ego, false illusions created by man, and perceptions that bring fear. My allegiance is to stand for life, earth, and America, and focus, fearless, and life enthused is how I remain. Oh, I keep.
Let that stay up there, please.
Well, I transferred it back because today we have a real interesting topic. Because when we're life enthused people, life is resurrecting. It's throwing in its towel in the ring. And if you really think about COVID-19 a little bit, you would see that in the months that it shut down the economy, the pollution levels for the planet dropped. And so when we stop cycling in what we've been taught as an economy, this death drum beat that we're doing and killing everything, all of a sudden, life was able to resurrect itself and start clearing out that carbon dioxide, the buildup. The minute we went back and started revving things back up again, guess what? The index levels started to triple, and now they're back at what they used to be. And we're very clear that the planet cannot sustain the lifestyle of what we have become accustomed to. So today we're going to discuss, did you get everything?
I'll get it later.
Today we're going to discuss how we build our relationship with the soil. And if you notice, I did not use the word land. You know, I had a group of people come up to me, email me the other day, and they asked me some of the most craziest questions I've ever heard in my life. And it was very, very clear to me that these people did not understand what indigenousness is and the connection to the soil, because indigenous people do not have land. Land is a colonial term for something that belongs to someone else and that you're stripping it from its nature. It's going to be used in an artificial way. It's no longer a part of life. It's dead. Are indigenous people of the dead? Do we destroy life? And if anybody said no, then you're right. We do not destroy life. We are a part of the nature of life. We are a part of the functioning of our planet Earth. So we would never take any of our soil and use it as land. But when you don't understand terminologies, and a lot of people say, well, why weren't we taught the difference? Because you're not taught to live. You was only taught to be enslaved, to die, and find different ways that you can be exploited until your death. And when you say that you're indigenous, you're moving out of exploitation. You're not here to exploit. You're not here to beg. We're creators. We build. So without further ado, I wanted to introduce Brother Eugene, Elder Eugene, because he had some questions, or he wanted to talk about his take. Elder Eugene, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, would you like to ask or share what you wanted to share with the
Yeah,
community?
I wanted to ask I discussed it with you, is that how important it is to own soil or the earth, a portion of the earth, our own, what I would say our own territory, to protect it. And when I'm noticed, since I've been um you know interested in finding more of the truth about how to live indigenously, one thing I noticed, that what all the places that I've seen, I'm seeing it being turned into industrialized use from other people that are not indigenous. And I asked myself, why is this happening? The thought came to my mind was that the indigenous people that should be there is not there to protect it. Because if all of us was protecting our soil, this would not be going on, because we are the protectors of the soil. And that's why they don't, I think the thought comes to mind is that we're exchanging what they call money for real way of living. And these companies will offer you $50,000 or $60,000 to come and work in their facilities, and neglect the most important thing, which is protecting the soil. And this is what I'm seeing going on. So I wanted to know for the various ones, how important it is to have your own section of the earth. Is that really important to us, or is it not?
Well, under nature, under the planetary law, the whole earth is our section. And every collective created by the earth to live with the earth had a territory in which they were caretakers of, or stewards, or shepherds, or whatever you want to call them. And you're right. We have abandoned that. Now, there's certain knowledge that is kept secret from our people by our people, because we're very good at blaming others, and we don't understand certain things. Our ancestors supported slavery. The slaves in America were the Amerindian females, because all earth comes from feminine. It is not a masculine. The masculine protect the feminine. And what happened in America, unfortunately, and it's not just limited to our people, Asia as well as Archebulon, they supported the selling of millions and millions and millions, and deportation of females for their soil. And this is a curse that we have. Now, United States did not steal the soil from us. Our ancestors were were the Confederates. The original Confederate flag, and you can do your research, actually was the American Indian flag, which were the indigenous males of America establishment of patriarchy. That's where the patriarchy comes in. And they lost the war. And they were trading Amerindian females, women and females and children, for their inheritance to a piece of soil, to sections of soil. And they were doing this by the millions because they were doing this for quite a while, and they were selling it to the Europeans, and they were using it as land. So when a European came, they wanted some land. They bought, or they got males to go out and get females for their soil. And they did it as an exchange. And unfortunately, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, that this tainted our story. Because there's another story here that's much more sinister and much more ugly, and we're still trying to live without dealing with that. So when the Civil War was over, the children, males as well as females, who were born from the captive females who were in captivity. And at one point there in the late 1700s, if you was indigenous female walking America, if you wasn't free, if you was free, they automatically made you a Negro. And your interchange with both systems, you made you an automatic property. And so with this constant encroachment on the rights of the females of America, the feminine, what came with it was the loss of our soil. As long as females don't have their soil, and males are not willing to fight back, because the United States does not owe you soil. And unfortunately, that's an international, that will never happen. United States don't owe you that. Okay. And after the Civil War, Amerindians were able to claim 40 acres or more per person. Families complete. So all of our families had soil. And over the generations, they sold it. 12 point, close to 13 million acres was lost in the Mississippi Valley River Delta alone. And these are some crazy numbers. Okay, why? Because we didn't want to build a food system for ourselves. We wanted to build a food system to feed the immigrants. And the systems are trying to exchange, but the truth is that one doesn't want to actually exchange with the other. So if our ancestors from the Mississippi Delta, they were growing fabulous food. The food was rich. It was abundant. Everything was there. You have to understand that most of the plant groups that you call food today were indigenous to America, and they were being developed and cultivated by our grandmothers way before Europeans came. And you want to say, well, why the grandmothers? Is because all the female is the nurturer of the soil. We keep up the fertility of the soil. That's our job. Before Europeans met our ancestors, they didn't even know how to grow anything. They were hunters and gatherers. And our ancestors knew every plant, every tree. They knew what kind of bugs did what with what, because we lived with nature. So you're talking about a complete different mental state when you think about it from this point. So if we're going to receive soil today, you have to buy it out of slavery, the enslavement of the patriarchal system. So no, somebody was talking about, well, we want the government. If the government gives you anything, okay, that makes you a dependent of the government. The government is not supposed to give you what you already have. The question is it in captivity or is it free? So the government, you cannot receive indigenous benefits, okay, coming to the government and saying, well, the government will give me this. The government's never going to give you anything that'll empower you. They've been working for the last 500 years to kill our people out of our soil. And that means the females. And because the females keep the cycle of human life going with our nature. Nature is our life support system, and we keep it going. And let me tell you, we're dying out. Our males are doing a very good job in making it very difficult for us to be able to sustain the eternal life cycle and telling us to kill ourselves and kill the children and all of this stuff. But they are not going to be held responsible for what happens. We are, because it is the females, the collective females who carry the blood of the soil. So therefore, we have to, regardless of what is presented today, we can always change the future through our children. Is this making sense to people? Is this helping you understand it better, Elder Eugene?
Yes, yes. Matter of fact, in my line of work, I've run into a lot of male and females that have a lot of questions concerning we as a people. One of the questions that come up a lot is, are we a cursed people? And if so, who cursed us? I think I told you guys some while back that my father back in the day said that God cursed us. And I asked him, well, what did we do in order for God to get angry at us and curse us? And the only thing I remember Dad saying is the fact that we worshiped idols.
Right.
And I asked him what kind of idols.
He's right.
And he couldn't come up with none.
Jesus Christ is an idol.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Why is that interesting?
Because that's the very image that we were given to worship.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that it has nothing to do with life. You're not even worshiping a live person. The biggest one, but that is not what cursed us alone. Yes, when we turned our back on nature, that which supports our life. Jesus Christ don't support nothing. So you lose your power that way. Two, we became a cursed people when we stopped serving our purpose to nature. Because why are we alive if we're not serving any purpose? Why were you given life? Why were you allowed to be alive? What's your service? Anybody?
Yeah, that's very good because wow, because I think I don't know, I forget the number is staggering how many of our people are connected with that type of religion and that type of mindset. I would go as far to say over 10 million, as many churches that not that I'm knocking churches. I'm just saying what they teach our people.
Right,
And
but our people are going to the churches for a reason, okay? And unfortunately, let's be honest, they're not going, if their lives are doing real, real well, they're not at the church. People, people go to the church when they want to cop out on life.
Mm.
Okay. And and then all of a sudden they want Jesus to forgive them for their mistakes. Well, exactly what's the mistake you're making? And most people who are like that, the mistake is you're supporting life. So you stop supporting life. So you walked away from your life responsibility. And we think that you can do that without consequence. And I'm very clear to tell you what the consequence is. If you don't have children, you don't have a way to live in the future. Because everything on this planet resurrects itself. That's the cycle. Am I right or wrong?
You're right, because I'm seeing it now in some of the trees. You see it
They can receive
recycling
everything way
itself
back.
through.
So as long as you have, and they seed and they make new trees. So, if you're not seeding, then how are you going to recycle back again? And what are you going to recycle back into? And so before we were able to break nature, like have abortions, people got, females had children so that you still cycle, but they didn't help develop the children.
Yes, yeah, ain't that interesting? They
Okay, they
didn't.
didn't develop. Well, that's not all their fault. Okay, they didn't develop the children, and each generation got weaker and weaker and weaker because they did not understand their nature. Where it's our job to develop them to understand their nature, not tell them where they're going to live and what have you. They still will live their own journey, but we're supposed to tool them so that they will be able to make a mastery out of their journey. They're still going to have challenges, the challenge from the choices that they've made, and blah, 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 blah. And remember, whatever you didn't do well in your last lifetime, and whoever you hurt in your last lifetime. So when you understand that you leave one life cycle, you're in a male life cycle this lifetime, but your next time through, which is a couple of generations or a decade going to come through, you're going to be a female. So whatever kind of male you was to that female, when you become a female, you're going to attract a male just like you to it. Are we
Wow. Mm.
okay?
That's scary, isn't it?
Okay. And so whatever you did, you have to balance that out, because everything in life rocks back and forth, as above, so below, and the whole works. So you got to balance that back out. And so the way you're going to balance it out is that you're going to experience what you did to others. Okay. So it once you understand, as I say this and you get it clear, you really become clear that you don't want your next life to be as bad as this one. That means you need to clean up your act. And that means have a piece of soil. All families had soil in them. If your family don't have any more soil, then you have to go out and get some soil that you can ground and build and make your cyclic connection back with nature, because the soil is your base, is the base for our huge tree, which is America. So every time we're connecting to it, we're strengthening that base. And you cycle. You have a whole different life when you are with the earth. And you're learning how to live and build, because you're not killing nothing. The more you don't kill, and the more you allow the trees and stuff to grow. The trees are the center of masculine power. And I was reading something at the Smithsonian. No, this was in New York, at the New York Big Library. And we came across a whole thing from one of the early uh, people wrote, talking about when they, America was all forests with huge trees that were thousands and thousands of years old. And these trees was as big as cars. Okay, you're talking about a tree that would take 30 people to get around it. Okay, and the stretch went for, long times. And these trees were humongous. You could live in them. And they were starting to cut them, and the whites couldn't touch them at first. So they would get our ancestral grandfathers to go out and cut the tree, and they realized that the reason why they couldn't beat them was because the men had trees. So when they would want to go to war, they would try to go to war someplace where you had cut your own trees. So you follow me? Because at that point, the males did not have the cloaking power that they had when they had the trees. And they wrote about it. They actually wrote about it. They said, well, what we wonder, do they understand that they killing their own power? So I'm assuming whoever they had gotten to cut the trees were not older people. Do you follow me? They had to be younger people who were cutting the trees for a gun or cutting the tree for whiskey. But the effect of cutting the tree was just as good as if they had went and shot the guy themselves. Is anybody following me here on this?
Yes.
Yes, that's real interesting.
And I was reading this, and when I read this years ago, how you read something and it just stays with you? And then somebody else had read it in the Philadelphia library. They went and they sent me a copy of where they were talking about, they was watching what was happening with the men who were cutting the trees. And they were losing their juice, and they were becoming more solidified in physical form. Because we're not limited to just physicalness. Do you follow me? And so it was interesting with that. All the people who was coming to America as immigrants, they understood that we were connected to the trees and that the male's power was the trees. So if you ever go to a prison or even go look at pictures of a prison, what is not there?
No tree.
There's no trees. There is nothing where you can get your power from nature there.
Now it's interesting that you said that, Redan, because I was doing some studying, and they mentioned this. They said up in Chicago, not only they did a study in Chicago, New York, and all of the major cities where most of the indigenous people live, they noticed that there were no trees and there was high crime in those areas. And
That's
they
right.
realized that it's something about the missing of the trees changes the vibration of us as a people, and it makes us more prone to the behavior that you'll see now displayed in us in these big cities. And really in the projects, it's a lot of stuff going on. And they noticed that. They said, there's no nature here.
Yeah, but they've known
And
that for a long time. Like I said, that's nothing new. That's why there is no nature there. Okay, it's not new. It's not new. I'm reading writings that go back to the 16 and 1700s, and they were saying how, the killing of the trees directly affects our males. Okay, two, the dehydration of the soil directly affects females because we're water units. We carry the moisture. We carry the essence. So we keep talking about soil. We need to be going out getting as much soil as we can, and we need to be planting trees. And we talk about it, but we don't actually do anything. I mean, I do. And once you have your own piece of soil, you can rebuild that piece back to the paradise it used to be. And that's what all of us will have to do. And it's becoming clearer and clearer and clearer. The other day, we got someone was calling us to buy Uwaja. So they're definitely foreigners are locking up the soil because they know that if we're going to make it, we have to return back to it. Every year we have the 3 sessions of Amerindian healing. And by the time the people get to the healing session, only people who make it are the ones who want to live. You don't want to live, you don't need to come, because we're in nature and nature will heal you. And they get a healing in 6 weeks. It don't make a difference if it's any from 1 to stage 3 cancer. We can pretty much help get the body back beyond that stage, even down to stage one, and in some cases, no cancer at all. It's gone. You're running, you're jumping up and down, but you have to change the way your lifestyle is. In some cases, you got to move from where you living because there's not enough trees to hold your vibration. There's just not enough. And many of us are not interested in doing that. A lot of us want our cake and eat it too. You're going to live the level of life condition that the place wherever you're living at is vibrating to. And the difference between your actual vibration of what brings you optimum health to where you're from versus where you're at. And again, that goes back to the soil. So when you say why the soil is important, if we don't build the soil up and have a way to build the soil up and let a tree grow so that it can benefit the future, we're not going to have a good present. Is that making any sense?
Yes, because I think you had told us a while back that for every person, I think you mentioned the fact it takes 60 trees, and the darker you are, it's going to take more trees.
Well, I wasn't saying how many trees. What I was saying is that the darker you are, the more moisture you need.
Oh, okay.
So you need a denser forest. Okay, you need to be around pine trees, walnut trees. You need to be in the forest. And that doesn't mean you can't build a house or what have you. It just means that you need to be around a nice, a good 5,000, 6,000, in the middle of 5,000 or 6,000 acres of trees. Now, when you understand that there was 700 million acres just treaty to the U.S. alone, because everywhere Amerindian females lived, everything that we had developed on is now annexed to the United States in exchange for not practicing slavery for our soil. Did everybody understand what I just said?
No, I didn't quite understand that one.
Okay, I'll say it again. We, for the United States territories, this is not including the Philippines because that's part of us too. The Negro people, the people born from Amerindian females, okay, all of the soil that is part of our life support tree consists of 770 million acres. What is under a public land trust because we are grandfathers, our great grandfathers, and all of them who were practicing patriarchy lost the Civil War. And the Civil War was over two things: the trade of Amerindian females and children for their soil to be used as land. When they lost the Civil War, that meant that the trade of Amerindian people in perpetuity would stop. In exchange for the stopping of the enslavement of the females and the children, putting them in captivity, for their soil to be used as land, to be placed under the United States, for Europeans to stop trading with our ancestral grandfathers, people, human trafficking, they took all the soil that belongs to our race of people in North America and called it their territory. So now we're not going to practice selling women and children. Okay? We're going to, because everything that, all their soil now is under the trust and care of the United States. And that's how you got United States of America. That was what the 14th Amendment is about.
Wow.
So if we turned around and said, well, we want this and we want that, you don't get it. They'll go back to, our males will go back to selling their females. And remember, they had the original plantations in America were not plantations of food, but were plantations of human trafficked females. And the exploitation of the female for what we bring to life, because we carry we're the life, has not stopped. It has changed, but it has not stopped. We're still in captivity to patriarchy. Would you agree?
Yes.
And a patriarchy is a homogeneous. Anything that's homo means it's genocide. It will kill you because there's nothing on the planet that's homo. Everything is hetero. So as long as males, so when males come up to me and ask me, they running this and they running that and they gonna do this, and I stay away from it because under international law, indigenousness is not masculine. Do you follow?
Indigenous, would you say that? Indigenous law is not masculine.
It's not masculine. Masculine is a component of it, but indigenousness, the planet is feminine.
Right.
Okay, with a masculine component. You are part of the whole. But it's feminine is which continues the life force.
Makes sense.
Okay, the masculine is the protector. So the feminine is the heart. The male is the bones. The heart can't move forward or anything without the bones, but the bones can't live, period, without its heart. And as long as our males want to be men or want to practice being men, that means living as the feminine side instead of the masculine side. Then you're homo. Because you two males, the female carries the heart. Even our heart has two chambers. It's not one chamber going one way. And do you follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Our heart, everything about us is dual. So it's two different functions. And when it becomes all one, and when a male wants to be, so that's the problem. It's that everything that comes to the feminine, to get the feminine to be able to strengthen itself so that it can hold its own and serve its function correctly with the masculine. The masculine keeps jumping in and wanting to be the feminine, want to rule the feminine. It's a control mechanism. And it can't do that. It will kill the organism completely. And that's what's been happening. So when we talk about soil, it is not a female's job to get the soil. The females collectively did not lose the soil. And that's our curse. That's the karma. Because Amerindian males have to get by their soil back. And that's recognized all over the world because of how they lost it. They didn't lose it through just war or anything like that. They sold it for trinkets and beads. Any questions?
That's deep.
Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Why do, I always ask males, why do you get up and pick up a gun? If white folks got all these problems with them, why are you picking up a gun and fighting their enemies? Have you ever thought about that? Why are you shooting at folks? If you're
Right.
so madly mistreated, why are you in their army? So all our families are supposed to have soil in them. Question is, what happened to it? And I'm not saying that there was never anything done wrong by Europeans. I'm just saying that we honor their states and all their boundaries and all this shit. We honor it. Why aren't we building our own? And not only do we honor it, but we were taught to honor it. And our parents honored it. And our parents lived outside of life law. They picked the life laws they wanted to be bothered with, and then they threw away the others. And that caused us a lot of consequences today. Are you seeing it, Eugene? Elder Eugene?
Yes.
So what's your comment from what I just said?
Well,
Does that answer?
I kind of feel angry.
At who?
Well, our males are allowing, I guess, our grandfathers, because here there are 3 young men that I know whose father told them not to sell their section of the property that they have, and all 3 of them, since their grandfather have deceased, they sold the land,
I know.
and
What,
now
mm-hmm.
they don't have none left, and one of them is homeless right now, and no one want to have anything to do with him, because they remind him that what their father told him: do not sell this property. But he sold it anyhow, said he was in dire straits. Now he don't have anything, and that's it. It's over.
Right. Now, the beautiful thing about what you've just said, I do know people who've done the same thing, and mainly men. And I've also known them to go and break up their communities and let whites in. It's mainly men who are doing all of this. And all of them end up losing everything they had within 6 months after they did it. It's not a long time before that money dissipates and that curse, life curses you into poverty. But when you start understanding these life laws, that's what's cursing us. The blatant disrespect of what our responsibility is, collective responsibility is. You don't sell your family soil because that's where everybody can live. Do you follow me? Nobody who's in the family bloodline should ever be homeless because that's where your roots are grown from. A lot of our people don't have any respect for the blood. They don't have any respect. Then you have some that just want a piece of soil so they can play whatever. But every family should have it. And right now, there's a big movement going on, not just in America, United States section, but all through the continent of getting as much soil as you can. There was an article on CNN, and it was here in the Belief paper about how they're selling Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Brazil, and they're selling it on Facebook Marketplace. And it's like, and they're selling land titles to forest. And they just selling it, and it's not their right to sell in the Belizean, because Bolsonaro is all behind this, and they're making land titles. And I went on Marketplace to look for it. I have to do it a little bit better than what I've been able to do here, and because I said, okay, well then we'll buy some and we'll give it back to the indigenous people. Do you follow me? Who vibrate and resonate with that soil. Because I know for a fact they don't know, but they know something is happening to them. Because indigenous people are not actually in the system. And one thing that's nice about us is that we are returning to the indigenous mindset, but we understand the system. Got it?
Yes.
So we can go out, I'm going to get that 10,000 acres of forest, and we're going to conserve it. And all the indigenous people who were the keepers who lived with it, they will have a place that should not be touched. And it'll be up to them to make sure that they monitor that 10,000 acres. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
And they would be the conservators, the administrators of the conservancy. But that would save 10,000 acres of forest from being destroyed. So life has a way of making it so that, you and I, we were born to be at the bottom of the barrel. We were born, they sold the life support. But life is just wonderful in the sense on how it's saying, okay, we're going to flip. And now we know what they do. Now let's be a part of the solution. Now, if you get soil, you better tell your kids, you're going to put it in a trust. Okay. And that soil is not to ever be sold. And we build up a trust so that they don't sell it. Any questions? What do you think about that? I don't know who's here.
I think it's a wonderful idea because the younger, I just don't want to blame them. It seems to me that the younger generation are very vulnerable to this system because they call them the right now generation. They want everything right now. If they can't get it, then they can't function.
Yeah, but the bottom line is that life doesn't work that way. So I really don't care what they want. because I don't think they know more right now than our generation or the generation before. And they got a rude awakening that life doesn't work that way. And that your right now is not even a right now because it's been robbed from you by the generations before us. Because they don't teach you in school that, they tell you the Confederates lost. They don't tell you who the Confederates are. So
No.
the story that I just shared with you, which is common knowledge. But I bet you never thought that it was your grandfathers who were the Confederates.
No, I didn't. Well, what about the Buffalo Soldiers? Who were they?
The Buffalo Soldiers were big traders. They went out. They were born in captivity. They were raised in captivity. I think they were raised in boys' schools or whatever, because they used to take the kids and separate them from the mothers. Did y'all know that?
Yes.
Okay, that's what they did. Yeah. They separated them, and they took those boys and they made soldiers out of them to work for the Confederate Army, and they went raiding villages.
Wow.
In over there by what we call Texas today and stuff. And they didn't pay them. When there was a lawsuit by those guys against the United States government because the United States government never gave them their money.
Give them their pension, right. I heard about that.
Yeah. They wouldn't. They used them. And you would say, well, why doesn't the United States get karma for it? Why won't the United States get karma for not paying you your pension for going out killing your people? I want you to think it through. Think it through, because once you think it through, this you can start seeing what's real and what ain't real.
The reason why. Go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead. I'm waiting for a reason. I need y'all to think this through. Go ahead. Why won't they get it?
Why they won't get it? Because they're not from this soil. They are parasites. If you're from this soil and you did all that, you're gonna suffer the consequences. They see now that, hey, we're not from this soil, but we taking this soil, and nothing gonna happen to us.
Yeah, but they're not taking the soil. What are they doing?
They're destroying it.
No, you're trying to make them into a villain. If I pay you to go out and burn your cousin's house down, is it my karma or is it your karma?
It's our karma.
It's our right. Now, I don't pay you. Is that part of your karma?
Yes.
Yes. I'm not going to pay you to do that. That means I'm not going to take responsibility for what you did. Are you seeing it now? Do you see what I'm saying? In that action.
Yes.
Eugene, do you see it? Because, y'all have a tendency to ignore the action like, huh? Elder Eugene?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I see it. Because, let me throw this in. What I notice here is that a lot of the nightclubs where these dancers come in that are sisters are owned by, they said a lot of them are owned by the police departments. But they got the black male up front and he brings in the black female to dance. But they get the karma from that, the black males, but the police officers don't get anything. But the money made off of these females. That is crazy. And now I understand why it's up like that, because when those brothers don't pay them bills, they go to jail. But the white male, they don't go to jail at all. And I was told that by somebody else that knew the inside. They said it's the brothers they get these females to come and dance for them. And they pay them.
Yeah, but do you see the karma cycle?
Yeah, I see it real good.
Okay, you know, I don't mean I'm not pro white at all. I'm just saying it's like playing chess. You know, I can't. If you are responsible for the actions you do, and for the last 500 years, black men have been selling on the dark side of the sword to white men. And they're willing to buy. You know, so the whole object of slavery and everything else was to stop the selling of brothers selling their sisters, who carries the essence of what makes them. So the new generations of males, were they born free or were they born in captivity?
In captivity.
That is correct. So you see the cycle?
Mm-hmm.
We have to break that cycle. And that's what curses us. Every male
It's just like
was born to be with a sister. Every sister was born to be with a brother, because we make a vibrational cycle unit. So anything that deviates from that nature receives karma, because you're not supposed to cause harm to the eternal. What does that mean? Been going on for centuries, forward movement of life. Have we interrupted that?
Yes.
Yes. So if we want to get out of this condition, we have to change our behavior. Now, can we get out the condition individually? Yes, you can, by the steps you take. We live at Uwaja and what have you, but we own Uwaja. It's a whole different scenario with me than it is with all the other people who have to get up every day and hit that dollar. That's a form of slavery. Debt is a form of slavery. Soil is the only thing that you have that allows you to be free. Now, I just went to Belmont Pond yesterday, which is the capital of Belize. It was a 6-hour bus ride. And I was watching all of these plantations where they've cut down the forest. It's nothing but plantations of coconut trees and stuff like that. None of these plantations are owned by the Quechua people. Most of them are owned by Europeans, European men, through the government of Britain. Do you follow me? And you're considered a slave or a subject the minute you adopt Christianity and you pray to the sword. What do we pray to that's a sword?
Yeah.
What is it called? What do you pray to that's a sword?
You said that's a sword?
A sword. You pray to it all the time. People wear it on their necks.
Oh, the cross.
Cross. The cross is a sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a sword. So they know exactly. Slavery is a mentality. They know exactly how they got you. By from where you dress. They can't keep you controlled. They have to control your mind. So that control of us loving to our homosexualization is a curse upon us. Would you agree, Eugene?
Yes.
Is that what your father was talking about?
No. He was talking about something totally different in terms of what God did. And so what he was saying to me was he related more to the fact that he never seemed to have had enough money to take care of us as a family. Everything was a struggle. And so he said, I'm tired. I remember Dad should come home one day, he was frustrated. Something happened on his job. He said, I'm tired of working for this white man. And I'm being who I am. So, Daddy, what you gonna do? He said, I'm gonna go down here and get me some plants, and I'm gonna go down here and ask this other white man, can I grow my plants in his garden, in his soil? I said, Daddy, why don't you get your own? That white man ain't gonna let me get my own. I said, boy, we trapped all the way around then, ain't it? He said, the white man own everything. And he looked at it the fact that the only way he could support us is to work on that job. And boy, we caught hell because it was never seemed enough to go around. But I tell you what, when Dad planted that garden and the yield that came from the garden every year, it was more than enough to take care of us. We just could not see outside of the box. We seem to have had.
Do you remember what you just said? He had to go to another white man to ask him, why didn't your daddy save up his money and go get some soil?
He said that the white man wasn't going to let him do that.
Why?
Because that's what I told him. I said, well, Daddy, why don't you go buy some soil somewhere? He said, where? The white man owned all the soil. Because at that time, there was a Hartville, which was owned by the Spanish, not the Spanish, but the Dutch people. There was a little town about 15 miles from where we lived. And it was an Amish fella that allowed my father, we to come there and plant a garden in his soil until he come one day and showed it. And that's when I said, well, Dad, well, why don't you buy some? If he can buy some, how come you can't buy none? He said, the white man ain't gonna let you buy none.
Yeah, but it wasn't up to the white man. If that Amish guy sold the soil, he could have bought that soil from that Amish guy.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't thinking about it because he sold the whole farm.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is that we have been kept under control through our involvement in European intervention. Got it?
Got it.
All right. Now, your father may not have been able to get the soil from where he was at, but until maybe 1968 or so, Amerindian people still owned most of the soil in the United States. When the Vietnam War came, we still owned most of the soil. Then we did the mass flux into the cities. Do you follow me?
That's right. You're right.
Okay, we owned the soil. You didn't have, you owned, your family could come together and work and put it together and would get their soil back.
Well,
okay, but I'm not, I mean, he's gone now. But I'm just saying that you have to, the Black man have to understand that this situation that he's in is a result of what his ancestors did before him.
Yeah, if I could go back and wake them up, I'd slap all of them.
You know, and they were getting off. They were selling Black women. Millions of Black women have been deported from America. All over the place. So that's karma. Millions of children. Okay. So the Black man owes nature. And that and you owe every time they kill a tree, that goes on your collective backs. Because what are you supposed to be doing?
Protecting it.
Protecting it.
So you're not doing that. And that's where I get the word homo. I said it's a very you're in a homosexual position. You're the submissive. And then you're looking at the female and you're angry at her when we're the ones who are surviving your condition. Because you're supposed to protect the soil and everything that belongs. You're the outer shell. You're the big guy. And at one point, most of the maneuvers and stuff done by the army, you know where they got it from.
Yes.
They got
Yes.
All right. We taught them. So there was an alliance. And we made our ancestral grandfathers for patriarchy made a very ugly alliance for some very ugly things. And that's what is cursing us because we stopped building the lifelines. They didn't, we don't want them to have children. We just want to fuck them. That's concubinage. You can't make concubinage into something different. You're going against the flow of the cycle of life with Earth. And that's what curses us. Your father, okay, felt trapped, but he also trapped your mother. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Are you seeing the cycle here? One is causing harm to another, and then life causes harms to him. He can't go nowhere.
Yeah. I've seen that. I mean,
you can't go nowhere. And he never once looked at maybe you need to change your relationship with your female and make it where y'all are one instead of looking at her as something, a vehicle to use. And I'm a living witness. Everybody I know who is out of balance with that female, they can't go forward. It's like they get stuck in a slave thinking. If she's a slave, whatever your wife is what you will be. And once you understand this, then we need to change the way we handle now. You would say, well, what if I have someone who is not trying to be about life? Well, then you're not supposed, a male is supposed to be my back. If I'm not doing right and I'm not about life, you're supposed to step away. Do you follow me? And vice.
Now, what do you mean by step away?
No, step away means separate. And then life will work it out when y'all come back to balance again. We're not supposed to be enablers of the cuckoo-ness. And that's what happened when females got enslaved. They could not walk away from that which was out of balance. Because remember, it's her juice that's fueling him. That's one of the benefits we get.
Now, here's that's very interesting, Renan, because I hear sisters say this, and they say it often. I don't want no man who ain't got no job.
Right.
And they don't want to build a future with a brother who ain't got nothing and no job, especially if he ain't working nowhere. It just
yeah,
they don't.
But you
don't make enough
you
money.
bring this up a lot. You keep bringing it up and up and up. Sister this, sister that. No sister's supposed to be with a brother that's not willing to build and have what it takes for her to be able to move life forward. Period. Now, whether it's a job or his own business, do you follow me?
Mm-hmm.
But he has to be able to provide. That's his part of provide the security, the protection. That's his job.
Right. I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
And it's funny to me because there are many situations where the sisters get with brothers who don't provide their job. Okay. And those relationships go where? They go nowhere. They're grounded and stuck because the brother has to step up and do more than what he's doing. Brothers have a hard time because they're not building their own businesses that support each other.
Mm.
Our ancestors had the largest economy on the planet, and now we have no economy at all.
Right, right, right.
Okay, so evidently what we're doing is not the way to go. We got to go back. If you can't move forward this way, that means whatever you're doing is wrong. The opposite of what you were doing would be right.
What do you? What is your? Does this mean? Now I know. I just left this guy. What he does for a living, I think when I noticed, I wanted to confront him. I wanted to know whether I'd be out of order. I noticed he got a little stand down on the corner here, and all that he sell out of that corner is nothing but female clothes. Nothing has to do with us. It's just more or less European wear. I wanted to tell him that's probably why he ain't making no money. You trying to put our European style clothes on our female so you can make a living. Would I be wrong if I confront him about that?
He's putting out there what he think that sisters will buy.
Right.
Okay, and he's just being a businessman, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of sisters will buy it. I don't think sisters today have the money to buy that. But they might. I don't know. We tried. You know how we've tried to get the indigenous wear line going, because our ancestors wore beautiful clothes, and I love wearing ancestral outfits and what have you. But it's most sisters are into wearing something as cheap as they can find, because they don't have money. Do you follow?
Well, I think they got the money is where they're putting that money at.
I agree.
I don't believe sisters not got no money. I believe it's where they're putting, because when I noticed some of the product he had, where it was from, all of the wear that he had was from China.
Right.
And I said, oh my goodness. So, he's not making a lot of money, but like I believe that a lot of these sisters are putting their money where they feel like it's most valuable, and that's on their body, on their hair, fingernails. This one lady said she get her body waxed every week. I said, waxed every week? What kind of wax is you getting put on, and who you putting the wax on for? And I said, that's a lot of wax. I want to tell, as big as you is, that's a lot of wax to be used.
Okay. Well, I want to ask what she waxing myself.
Yeah, she used to get waxed and had nails done. I said, how much is that running you properly? She said anywhere from 175 to 180 every other week. I said, man. Now, I think a lot of our brothers don't want to be involved with sisters like this because they too fashioned. And depending on the age group as well. And I noticed that they wear a lot of stuff, I guess, to try to attract somebody to them. But it's just not working because they're going to nightclubs and they're coming back the same way they left. A lot of it's what they call booty call. And once that's over, there's nothing else.
Well,
And
bottom line is that in this day and age, the magnetism between the male and female is not that strong. And it's not just limited to the United States. I'm here in Belize. I see the same thing. We were just talking about it the other day. That there's no magnetism between the males and the females, especially in the younger. They're not there. They're not having intimate relationships. The relationship has turned down. But I do know this much: the minute they go to the soil, they work with the soil, and they get a sense of belonging, your nature comes back. A lot of people don't have their nature. A lot of our people are straight up sick. They don't have their nature, and a lot of our males are not attracted to females. I want to ask you, brothers who are on the line, when is the last time you was attracted to a female? Anybody?
Yesterday.
Cool. You was attracted to them.
Attracted to a young lady, a female, yesterday in Cobb County.
Okay, and you was willing to go talk to her?
I did talk to her.
Oh, good. No, I didn't think they were doing that anymore. I mean, it's funny you would say yesterday, because yesterday must have been a special energy. Because I had two men approach me too. And I thought I was
Oh boy.
an old lady. But no, I'm glad to hear it, because I was kind of shocked. You know, he told me this morning when I was getting on the bus, I love you. But I just think I don't know, maybe there's nothing around there. I don't know. This guy's too young.
What did you say?
Say that again. Say that again. I heard somebody's voice come in, huh?
What did you
What
say
did you tell
to
him? What did
him?
you say to those men?
What did I tell him after he said that to me?
Yeah. What was the conversation about?
I told him, thank you. Oh, I said, that's so sweet. And I hear you. I love you too. And I kept walking on, getting on the bus. I'm not going to reject him, but I happen to know that the brother probably is in his 30s. And I'm in my 60s.
That's an A+ for you. That's an A+ for you.
For what? In what?
That's right.
Well, yeah, he's not the first in the younger men, but I am not eligible for younger men. He needs to connect with a female closer in his range. I'm older than his mother. There's nothing So that love that he has would not necessarily be an attraction, because I wasn't attracted to him. It wouldn't be an attraction. It's what the fact that I'm older, I'm living by myself, I can take care of myself, and blah 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 may be appealing because he's looking for a new home. Do you follow
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you called him. You called him out.
A new place. He's looking for a sugar mama, and I know that under natural law, I can't touch that. I'm not going to get karma from having a relationship with him in that kind of way. Mm-mm. You get karma for that.
Wait. Hold back up a little bit now. So you're saying you get karma from dating, being attracted to a younger man than you?
No. You missed. I said I was not attracted to him.
Right.
Okay. So if I'm not attracted to him, he's really not attracted to me.
It seemed like he was.
No, when you're attracted to somebody, it's mutual.
Oh.
All attraction is a back and forth. So if that's why I asked you, when's the last time you was attracted to someone? And if you're attracted, if that light goes off within you, okay, to that person, that's a blood thing. That's your blood charging, saying, okay, this person is what we can work with. That's an inside out situation. Okay. I have no attraction whatsoever to him. I don't even, and I find that for me, when my bing goes off, it doesn't go off for young men. It goes off for older men. Men who are close to my age, or could be a little bit younger or a little older, but I very seldom have had a bing for someone 30 years younger than me. I think
Now, now how does that work for a male with a younger woman? Is that the same thing or not?
yeah, when it comes to a blood attraction, you have an attraction to them, and that attraction will be strong. Now, what kind of
Mm.
condition their lives are in and stuff like that can be a whole nother ball game. But the nature of them is compatible with your nature.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So the same with males. Okay. You will be attracted to that which is compatible with you. I'm just telling you that I'm not attracted. Now, if there's a real strong attraction, he will keep pursuing it. But I think that the attraction is not necessarily physical. I think that the attraction has to do somewhat with what I bring to the table. So and so it's when he said this to me, it was nice. It sounded nice. It blah 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 blah. But I do not feel that if I was to say, oh, he said those things to me and go there, we would not have a nice relationship.
May I ask you a question, please?
Yeah.
Great Eye.
Uh-huh.
Could it be possible that you are afraid to, I hate to use this word, uh, are some women who want to be loved, but they're not lovable?
I don't know what that means. You mean they're mean or something? Well, he says they want to be loved, but they're not lovable. So I don't know what that means. What they're mean or something or what?
Are there any women in the house?
In what house?
In the house who I'm addressing right now?
Me? I'm a female.
Okay. See, Brian, sometimes uh, I believe there are men like that too. They want to be loved, but they are so mean until nobody really want to put up with that from being alone so long by themselves until a woman will automatically, if a man approached her, uh, she'll run off in fear because she want to be loved, but she don't know how
Yeah, but that's
to.
not my case here. I don't date men that are younger than my son and my children. It's just simple as that. That's not love. And life has everybody wanting people to be there's a need that has to be met. Okay, life, everything in life works with exchange. So life doesn't work like that. If there's going to be someone, it's going to be someone who is compatible with me for us to continue to cycle as a relationship. It's never going to be
Well,
somebody who's younger than my kids.
Radine, the only attraction there is plus and minus. If you
Right.
get someone like you, if you get someone like you, uh, if it's too positive, they never work out. You have to have an
Yeah, but
opposite
I've
to
dated young
have.
men. I know that because you're not the first person. Oh, date younger. He was 20 years younger. It lasted 2 years, and I'm gonna be honest with you. There's some serious when I understand why life does not support that, because they're growing in one direction and you're growing, even though you're growing, but you're much beyond their maturity level. And the maturity levels don't match. They just don't. So one is it turns into a mother son thing. Your maturity level. So I'm not interested in someone who's I can help them grow, but I'm not going to have any growth with it. And life would not send me that. No, I love life very much, and I'm not scared of any man. My thing is when it comes to a relationship, I have healthy relationships with everybody. Okay, but everybody is not meant to be my significant other.
Well,
And I don't want to keep talking about because we still be talking about the soil, not me having a date. I just happened to mention
no,
that yesterday, I got
no,
you, and I was kind of shocked because I wasn't, but I've just found a look for myself because I'm older now, and evidently it's working because I'm going different places, and I am getting approached by males who've been watching me for quite some time. It was real interesting because they made their approach twice. Another brother who I speak to almost every day, okay, he sure enough took almost offense to it. It was weird, but I am not East Indian. I do not come to Belize to cultivate intimate relationships outside of my race.
Outstanding.
Out, period. Okay. And so it's not going to be out of my race and 30 years younger. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. That's not natural, nor is it normal. And when you live in a community that people still following natural norms, you're gonna fall in either I leave the community. Now I've been in this community. We have most of the people are married. I talk to all their husbands and stuff because they're secure. I'm not trying to bring a lot of corruption. And I don't do that. I do not cause harm anywhere I go. So, no, this young man, it was nice to hear him say what he said. I was shocked, totally shocked. I thought he was drunk myself, um, and everything. But there will never be anything, and it could be the COVID-19. The COVID-19 got people locked up and blocked up in certain boxes, and love the one you with. But I will not cross life law and lose my uh, prosperity in breaking life law and my protection because I live there by myself and my neighborhood is what's protecting me.
well, that's good, but it sure be nice to have a young man around, wouldn't it?
No, I have my son. I mean, I'm not there. Um, these are young males come with all their issues. And down here in Belize, you have to deal with liquor and drinking. And this is a very male chauvinistic um, country. So you got to be careful with what you pick up because they don't have anything to lose. You do. So I'm very grateful to him. If whatever he's saying is true, it's nice to hear and blah, blah, blah. And I'll always be nice to him. But I will steer him to meet someone who would be better suited for him, but not somebody who's 36 years older than him. Any questions? Oh, wow, I got everybody quiet. So y'all must have liked my answer.
No, I did not like your answer, but uh, I do like to listen to people.
What is your name, sir?
Uh, I am.
What's your name?
I am.
You are what?
I am. That's my name.
Oh, so he don't want to share his name with you. Okay. Getting back to what we were saying, as far as relationships are concerned, um, all the males will have to buy back the soil to have that kind of power again. Now, how much soil you buy and pull, because when you buy back the soil, you're buying back, you're pulling it out of slavery. Is that making sense to anybody? And I also want to say, you just hit me. Excuse me for one moment, just backtrack here. Okay. You said people are so mean. Are you trying to say that I'm a mean person?
Is that what I said?
You said that, somebody can be so mean and
No, no,
get
no, no,
along
no,
for
no,
so
no,
long.
no, no,
I've only
no,
been
no,
alone
no.
for 3 years. My husband
It,
just died in 2017.
um, no, I'm saying, is that what I said, or is that what you want me to say?
I don't know. I'm asking you because you made this statement. So I'm just trying to get clarity from it, for it, the statement.
Uh, what I am saying is that sometimes you meet people, whether it's male or female, especially here in America, that uh, disguise themselves, but that's not who they really are. They put on these European clothes, European names, and then somebody might ask them to say, well, what is your name? Well, do you want my slave name or the name that life gave me? And then people get upset because I don't answer them the way how they want me to answer them. So all I'm saying is that most people who have been conditioned for over 400 years don't know who they are. Very few do. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, so that makes them mean people?
I meet all type people in life.
No, I said,
I
does that
mean,
make them mean people?
well, anytime you're operating out of who you are supposed to be, yes. Why do you think that we have so much one-on-one crime in our neighborhood? Why do you think we're killing each other in our neighborhood? Would you call that nice?
Well, no, I don't think it's nice, but I think the reason why there's so much crime in the Meridian neighborhoods is because one, the neighborhoods don't have trees to balance out their vibration. Two, that they don't have any respect. They've lost respect for themselves. And when you don't have any respect for your creator, then you have no respect for life. Regardless of what mistakes they do on their own journey, the bottom line is that the essence of life comes through the female. So whatever your image of the female is what your life is going to end up being. So as we change and
Okay.
we raise the image of the females who create us, who have to continue the cycles so that we can move life forward. Remember, if you have a child Okay, your next life, okay, will, if you've had children to come through, your next life will be a female because it flips. It's like a boat, tick tock, as above, so below. I mean, that's a life law. So, whatever if you hate a female today, you're going to be hated tomorrow when you are one. And it's these laws that we keep ignoring, okay, that unfortunately the Christian church has instilled in us. I don't understand how any male in his right mind can feel that he's above a female who's are the ones who gave him life. But the influence is here. It has taken hold and has been a bomb. And because of that bomb, it has put us in poverty, emotional poverty, financial poverty. And we have taken all the energy that life has given us and we have consumed it. And now we're broke. We left nothing for the children if you wasn't so selfish. So we've kind of adopted some stuff that's just not too positive, and it came with consequences. Does that help you any, Eugene?
Yes. Yeah.
We try to look at everything from this Bible. Oh, the curse. It's not. The curses is what you're doing. The curse is the way you're thinking. The curse
Mm-hmm.
is karma from the generations before you that we have to turn around. Now, I do understand this much, that the minute you start turning it around, life starts lifting up for you. Life ain't that hard. But life is not something that we made. Life is something that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you don't, oh, I made no, 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 no. And we all were given life to help bring life back to paradise. That means back to balance. For millions of years, we did not operate. We were not a poor people. You don't see the deer running to the damn supermarket or the flies running to the market or there's nothing that needs all what we need to live. Because in nature, it gave us everything we need. Just like everything in nature has it. You don't go out of your way and feed nobody. You don't do nothing for an animal, nothing for nothing. Only thing you take care of is you. And we're the only thing on the planet that does that. The trees help take care of us. Even the air helps take care of us. There's an exchange. What are we doing? And maybe we have to return back to that. And that exchange also returns you back to the soil. Why is it important for us to have soil in our families? So you'll have a place to damn live. That's not a burden. Anybody else want to add anything to that, to what that statement I made?
I agree. I've seen the lost for not having your own soil because it makes you the possibility it could turn you into a slave.
Sharecroppers.
And yeah, yes. I mean, I think you'll be more bountiful in life, more abundant in life because when you are living on your own soil and working with the soil, uh, because when I go in my backyard and I begin to do things, I feel the energy from the soil. Just that little bit there, I'm just wow. Because I've done what you say. I start taking my pee and putting it around trees, and I'm seeing the prosperity from doing that. I'm telling you, brother, you got pee, hold on to it and put it around them bushes and trees.
Yeah, give
I'm
it all
telling you.
back to the earth. Give it back.
Yeah.
Complete the cycle. We did a class on cycles, and I may offer it again. I'll even do a lecture on it. Understanding cycles, how everything is cyclic, and the fact that we don't complete cycles. Europeans have gotten us to adopt a lifestyle that breaks our cycle. So, the fact that you got anything is you got to work, and burn out your energy, but you're not replenishing it. Is something that our ancestors understood very, very important. And so making that, life is an investment. And that's another thing we don't recognize. We have to invest in life. And we don't want to do that. We're selfish. So I don't, Eugene, some of this is karma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the people who live selfishly didn't want to invest nothing, didn't have nothing to give. All they wanted to do was live well for themselves. The rope is over. At some point in time, you're gonna get dropped, and you're gonna have to pay the price for what you did or did not do,
Mm-hmm.
and the quality of your life will show up on that. Amerindian people, I can't say enough. Fatherhood is one of the most prosperous ways to make prosperity you got. But you have to help protect the child. And all I ever hear is brothers gripping and griping and carrying on, and they're not actually doing anything to meet the challenge of being a father. It's not the female's responsibility to bring the children to you. If you're a father, get your butt up and go see your children and be an active member in the development of their lives, because they're going to live for you into the future. And everybody seems to understand this. And I don't understand why brothers can't. So I have never met a stupid brother. So I take it as if it's not that they don't understand, is that they don't want to do it. It means that they have to get out of their comfort zone of being selfish. And you're being judged. I'm not going to judge you. I'm shooting. Every cause, every action has a reaction. And that is for everybody. And once you get into it and understand it, you start making better choices while you can. Once your lifetime is ran out, your energy is ran out, it's over for you. If you haven't corrected and made some atonement and changed some paths, you're going to receive the consequences of what you did. And if you don't receive it in this lifetime, you'll receive it in the next. So, it seems like people all over the world understand that. And it seems like brothers and sisters, it's not just brothers, because sisters are copping out. Everybody's looking and running behind Jesus. I don't, I don't read the Bible that like the way people read the Bible. I read it for what it actually says. And yeah, some of it is difficult, but really, especially Genesis, it lays it out for you, the laws of life, and it's it's really not that off. It really isn't. And it tells you how people can conquest other people by getting them to walk away from the law of life. Stop your allegiance, worship idols. In Psalms, I think it's Psalms 109, it talks about how the planet came and got people who kept making molten idols and sold their children into purgatory and slavery and stuff like that. And when I read it to my classes, they think they're like, damn, did you write that? I'm like, no, this was in the Bible. I said, well, who does this sound like? That sounds like us. So if it was written way before we became enslaved, means that it's a cause and effect cycle. And this is what happens if you take these actions. And if you don't take those actions, you get beyond it. You correct actions.
I would like to say something on that matter. Great Eye.
Yes.
This is to you and your audience. the Bible itself, it is not the Word of God. So all the word Bible means is collection of books.
Right.
And so the Romans and the Greeks who conquered the ancient Egyptians, they stole many of our ancient writings and incorporated in these books, because under Constantine, 325 AD, the Council of Nicaea, they changed the complete.
Council of Nicaea was in the 1600s.
Yeah, that's right. I said when the Bible was written in 1611.
The Bible that the
The
King
Bible was
James
written.
Version of the Bible came together in 1611 of the Council of Nicaea. And you're right.
That's what I just said.
Right.
Right, that's what I just said. Okay, now, under Constantine, they had to take the ancient text, because many of the ancient texts was from older writings of the Bible, but because that it stately provided the information of who we really was, the Samaritans and the Book of Hermes and all these different ancient texts that was hundreds of years before the Bible even came into existence. They took our ancient knowledge and the schools where the ancient Egyptians had, and they stole much of the information out and then incorporated what they wanted to, because in order to conquer a people, you gotta get them to change their religion, their names, their culture, and everything in order to conquer. The Bible is not a book. In fact, the Bible is based on the zodiac. Everything in the Bible is about the zodiac. The 12 disciples of Jesus, the 12 seasons of the year. When Jesus was sitting at the Last Supper, if you count the legs of the table, under that, what they was eating at, it was only three legs of the table that you could see. And then Jesus never sat at no table, because they used to sit on the floor when they ate in the east. And then one of Jesus' disciples was a woman.
There was
It
actually
shows
more
it
than
in
one.
the
There was actually more than one, and Jesus was married and he had children.
yes. So a lot of things they're not giving you. Even like when you say Genesis, there is no such book as Genesis, Exodus, or none of those. Those are all European, Roman, Greek books, because there is no beginning in life.
There is a cycle in life, and you
Life,
do
life,
cycle.
life
So
always
I think
existed. Life always existed.
that is correct. But it's cycle. Life exists through cycle. And that cycle, you can
What?
break it up any kind of way you want to. But the bottom line is that where we are today is in a cycle. And so once you understand it,
Right.
it's not it.
Right.
All I'm saying is this, because I don't want to get caught up in a Bible conversation when we're supposed to be talking about soil.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just trying to
I'm just
bring
saying that the Genesis of
clarity.
the Bible, Genesis means genes. That's what it is. Isis, genes, okay? It's genes, it's blood. Has to do with the blood. And that's why Revelations goes back to the blood. Okay? Everything is about the blood and the soil. And it's telling you how they destroyed another group of people by getting them to worship some homosexual man, and but they do it to the female. Once the female dies, who carries your blood, who created your cycle, that allowed you to cycle through, you no longer exist as a part of anything. We all have totems. We all look like some belong. There's an animal phylum that's also connected to each and every one of us. We're part of that. You return back to your animal phylum, I guess. I don't know, because I'm making sure that I continue to cycle. Now, any other questions on what we were talking about? I'm sorry, I'm going to end this because we're losing time here. Any other questions on how we can get soil for the future and build these communities?
Yeah, I think one of the ways those are interested in purchasing soil, we can put our monies together and as you go each year to the tax sales and see what's out there. Start going to different courthouses and see what's being available from tax liens and see what we can purchase with monies.
Well, I know this much, that I've been to the last few of them. Honey, since Trump went into office, there's less and less property. They're on this property like white on rights. Everybody is wanting more property to have, and they've changed the tax laws. But I do agree, and if you are wanting to stand as indigenous, now we also have properties in which people can invest in. We already have them, and you can build on them. Everything looks, and for very little money, we're giving the properties back to the people just for pretty much what we paid for them. And you can pay us on a monthly basis, not for years. It's not a mortgage, but it will allow you to get them. And the most we're asking for any property is 10,000 or less, and you're not going to find that too much anymore. But you also look outside of the country. Look outside the country. I can't tell people enough to get a passport. This is not the time to get caught up in cuckoo-ness. You need your passport because they're fracturing. There's going to come a time where you can't get on a plane without a passport. They're going to want a passport to go to New York. So I keep telling people, we did a whole show on this last year. And we showed them that by July 1st, I think it was 2020, you were supposed to have it in. I don't know if because of COVID-19 that they extended it, but I'm telling everybody again, you're going to have to get, I ain't got no money for it. Anybody who's stuck in the cities, you're going to stay stuck. You're going to stay stuck if you don't start moving and investing differently, especially for young people. They don't have a lot of money. Invest, make sure that you have a space for your family to be so that they can grow and live into the future. They can be here in 2050, 2070. Your bloodline will continue to move on. On that note, it's getting kind of late. Any last comments, please?
I think the show was very beautiful. I think it's a very good topic, an open discussion on the soil. I think it was much needed. I hope we continue to look into what we've discussed today and to give us that encouragement to do and find more soil to purchase. We being males, I'm going to do it myself as well and get moving.
Well, honey, you're gonna have to get moving and quickly. Building 2. The April 1st, I will be sending out the April's 1st message. I'm not going to do it live like we normally do it. We're just going to send the message out. I hope everyone reads it. The update will be coming out. It was supposed to have been out today, but I got here too late. So I probably will send it Monday. I will be leaving in a couple of weeks. I will be back in the States. I'm looking for someone to help with the gardens. We are not playing. I'm coming back early so that I can get that soil straight and we can get these gardens going. Anybody who helps receives. We have very good soil up there. We are not trying to deplete it. We're trying to build it. Not trying, that's what we're doing. We've been doing it. And I need some males to pee around the place for me. So male pee mixed with female pee refortifies the soil, and that young guy will be good just for his pee alone. But I think I could get it without having all the other stuff. Also, at this time, I would like all of us just to take a moment to send a prayer to Christian Murray or Christian Sammy. She's Brenda's daughter, Elder Eugene's daughter, and Elder Brenda and Elder Eugene's daughter. And she is in the hospital with a pretty critical condition. And we're praying that she makes a smooth recovery and that it will take time, but that she chooses to stay and recover and be turned back to being an active part of the family. So I just would like to take 1 minute of silence in this regard on her behalf. Okay, I just want to tell people um, thank you for being here and taking the time to share. We will be taking this recording and putting it on the web. I need some web help because we wasn't able to put the other two up, so we will try to put this one up. We also have the American Heritage Steward Program, and you can find it on the website if you want to become a part of F.I.A.H. And a lot of people are running out here starting their own indigenous this and indigenous that, and they don't know what exactly it is. So I'm thinking about doing a lecture. I may be able to come to Atlanta, and please give me your feedback on what you think we should talk about. That would be inspirational and what the people really need to hear. So I would like some feedback from the audience. If you are listening to this show after it's recorded, you can send your feedback to admin, ADMIN, at FIAAH.org. I'll repeat that. Admin, ADMIN, at FIAAH.org. Well, I'm going to do something that the devil never did. I'm going to let you go. But I hope that the words that we've spoken have triggered some serious thought and you become a part of the solution. And look in your families and find that soil and talk to them about securing their security with nature. Until we meet again, Akichwe.
Akichwe.
Get your way.
Get you it. Rev, you still there?
Yes,
Huh?
I'm recording.
Put that up again. I'm gonna take a picture of it.
Hey, young
Yeah.
man,
Let me take a
you
picture.
still there? Oh, I just wanted to talk to you for a minute. Oh, would that be all right?